Okay, so now we are on session 5, generate your leads, and I'm going to have Mark Stewart introduce himself. He does have his own team. Mark, how long have you been with KW?
Since 2015.
2015.
July of 2015.
Very nice. Coming up on, I'm bad at math. 7 years, 8 years? 8 years?
8 years in July.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
What else? Oh, I might as well take the cue. Okay. So been here since 2015. However, we're going to realtor since 2005 is when I first got my license. And I got into real estate because I wanted to be one of those flippers on television where you can make $100,000 on a flip. And I found out that in Springfield, there's really no such thing as making that kind of money, especially getting started. You probably can, but you have to invest $500,000 probably into a property to get it. I was small time and I did 3 flips. I did enough flips to find out it wasn't for me. And then through the business that I did over at Murney, I got to a place where I was making $80,000 to $90,000 a year for 2 or 3 years. I thought that was great money when I first started making that kind of money. But when you make that amount per year for several years, you've reached that ceiling of achievement where you want, man, I want more money. And the only way to get more money is to make phone calls. And I was resistant and very reluctant to switch to Keller Williams because I was being recruited by the TL before. I'm like, man, I do not want to make phone calls. I did not want to press send. And, but in order for me to get to the next level, I needed to make phone calls. So I jumped in over here at Keller Williams and I've been here ever since. I had a small office when I first got here, and now I have a bigger office, but also more responsibilities. And one of the passions that I have is helping other agents learn what it takes to be successful in this business. Yes, Nicole?
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
No.
Okay.
You're good. It's all you.
So I knew that I had a passion for, I knew I had a passion for real estate. But where I was at before, they just never gave us the information nor the knowledge to be a better agent. I went around to some of the bigger names that were over there before I decided to make a switch to KW. And I always got, call me, email me. I would get a response, but nobody would ever meet with me. And I know I wanted to do more, but I was never able to. So came here. And so I say all those things to know what it's like to want to know more and not know how to get there. And the one thing that I learned is, what's your first name? Isaiah. Mark, nice to meet you. I've met everybody else. I knew that I wanted to do more. I was capped out at selling 21 to 24 houses a year. And I knew that in order to get somewhere, I needed to learn more. So through the systems and the models and the culture and the training and all the training events that we can go to, now what I'm able to do is focus on what I'm good at, and that's talking to people. And when it comes to technology like Command, I have 2 virtual assistants that help me with those things. So now I'm able to stay in production and do the things that I'm good at and leverage off all those other things. But we all start with somewhere. And the place where it starts at is lead generation. And the more leads you get, the more sales you'll make. And the more sales you make, the more money you make. And then the more money you make, then you can hire other people to do those leverage pieces for you. Another piece of leverage I have is the transaction coordinator. When I first got into real estate, actually, when I was being recruited by the previous TL 2 TLs ago, he broke it down to me like this. In each transaction, when we're working with a buyer, there are basically 40 hours that go into that. 12 to 14 of those hours are client-facing, whether that be showing houses or whether it be doing a buyer strategy session with them. The other 24 to 26 hours are hours that once you get them under contract, now you have all the paperwork that goes with it. And I suck at paperwork. I know how to do it, but it takes me about 5 times longer than maybe 10 times longer than what it takes a transaction coordinator to do it for me. So we have a transaction fee that we put in the employment part of the contract. and it's $350. And that's what she gets paid out. I mean, at closing, she gets paid that. And so that's a lot of hours. I mean, so she's taking 24 to 26 hours off my plate, and the average buyer takes 12 to 14 hours. How many buyers can you fill in that time spot that you're now leveraging off to your transaction coordinator? Speak up. Our participatory class. 2, right? So now you're able to get, you know, the average sales price on a property here in Springfield is $350,000. Who has a calculator? Will somebody do a calculator for me? One of the things I require, I love interaction. Let me know you're with me. Otherwise, it gets kind of boring. So take 350 times 3%.
10,500.
10,500. Multiple. Okay, so 10,500. And then if you're able to get 2 buyers to fill that time spot that you now leverage off to a transaction coordinator, multiply that times 2, and then what do you get?
21,000.
21,000. Who would like to have a $21,000 raise by leveraging off that piece of 350 bucks? Now, I know for me, I wanted to have that control of the contract. I thought I needed to have that, but I was using that as an excuse not to do the lead generation. Does anyone, I mean, can anyone relate to me when I say that? Who wants to have the control of everything of the contract? But at the end of the day, I've been there before. Come on in. At the end of the day, I've been there before. And the number one thing that we can do as a realtor is to lead generate. So let's not cost ourselves $20,000 or whatever the commission is, just because we want to have control. Make enough money and leverage it off and let someone else do those things for you. Any questions on that? I'm ADD. I'm a DISC on my disc. And so sometimes you may have to reel me back in to get me back on task. But I would like to know who's a good scriber, who likes to write? Your first name? Christina. Christina, do me a favor, Christina. Will you come join me?
Oh, no. Am I writing on the board?
You're writing on the board.
That's
I have better handwriting than him. That's why.
You have better handwriting?
No,
Oh.
I'm saying she probably
No,
does.
No, I don't. I'm left-handed, so that.
That's fine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you have great handwriting.
On the board, it's
We were just
different.
talking about
Oh my
this.
goodness.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Christina.
You're welcome.
Please don't get offended if I ask for name after name after name after name again. I probably said until the names are meaning better. What I want to know, and it'll help me share information with you guys. We're going to go through the Ignite right here information. I've been to Ignite a number of times when I first got here, and so it's a great class. The number one thing about Keller Williams is whatever you want to know, you can find it out here. And if the person you talk to doesn't know, you can find somebody that will help you. So what I would like to get from everyone here is what's one thing that you're hoping to get out of this class today? Can everyone think of something before we get around to you? I'm going to start with you because you're in the front row. What's the one thing you would like to be able to get out of this class today?
What the #1 lead generation tool is for most people in this office.
So #1 lead generation tool. Darn it. Here we go.
Your whole thing about just don't use pronoun.
All right. Darn it.
There we go.
#1 lead generation tool. So when you say tool, tell me more.
I guess anything, whether it's calls or handwritten letters or using command or anything.
Okay, calls, handwritten letters, command. Okay, calls, handwritten letters, command. Okay. Yeah, such good handwriting.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
welcome. All right.
Mine, anything that has to do with expireds or FSBOs that I do not know yet, which I'm still new, so there's still not, I don't know.
So the one thing you're wanting to get out of this class today is expireds and FSBOs.
And I'm sure there's Yes, definitely, but then if there's more of any other realm, that would be,
Okay, all right.
How to turn those into a lead, you mean? Is that what you're trying to say? Like, or just anything?
just anything I don't know about them,
Okay,
so.
okay.
Maybe how to be better with cold calling if the call's not going anywhere.
How to be better with cold calls. I bet Michelle knows how to answer that one. Be better with cold calls. Does that be better with cold calls? You mean like objections?
Not even objections, but maybe say you called somebody, you know, off of land voice and it's not the right person. So then where to go with that and how to use, I don't know, create a better relationship over the phone.
Okay,
If that was to not go anywhere.
okay, all right. Did you get that? Okay.
Sorry, that probably.
No, you're good.
How to properly nurture a lead, like and communicate with them.
Properly nurture a lead. We'll let Christina catch up.
That's the same question.
How do you better lead follow-up?
Better lead follow. So that would kind of
So
go
the
with
second-
nurture a lead, right?
Yes,
Okay.
same thing.
Okay. How to better nurture a lead. Yes, sir. What's your first name?
Darren. G.
Okay, not Darren McGarren.
Yes.
Okay, what's your, what's the one thing you would like to get out of the class?
Probably just with the first one, like lead gen tools.
Lead gen tools. Okay. Yes, sir.
Time block, how much time do you block?
How much time? Great question. So how much time do you block? How much time do you block? And what else? Was there something else you had with that?
No, sir.
Okay.
Oh, I had it,
Sure, we'll come back to you.
First, probably just what do you spend your most time on with the different lead gen tools? Like, do you just stick with more of what you prefer, what you think you're best at, or do you use all the different tools in that time frame that you block off?
Okay, reframe that for me.
Do you stick with the tools that you think you're best at, or do you use all of them in that area?
Do you stick with the tools that you're best at, or do you do all of them? All of them? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
He's wanting your personal, what you're personally spending your time on, right?
Like yeah.
Me personally, or
Maybe not you personally,
Okay.
but would you tell me to spend more time doing just what I'm good at versus learning to be better at it all and just using everything?
Okay. Did you get that, Christina?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, sir.
how do I get the information from my leads?
Say what now?
So like I tried social media, but how do I get people's phone numbers and email addresses and addresses?
How do you get the information from social media? Okay.
Or any if I'm talking to you, how do I get your information?
As in what to ask?
Yeah.
Okay, so scripts.
Yeah, how do I introduce myself, tell you what I'm about, and then get your information?
Okay. You have an Ignite book? Okay, script. So you're basically talking about scripts. Okay, perfect. Great. Because that was the one thing I didn't have when I was at Murney was scripts. They always told you, go talk to more people. But the problem is the people that you know on your phone, you can only call them so many times and say, hey, this is Mark, yada, 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 yada. Who do you know that's looking to buy or sell a home? You can only do that so many times before they just stop picking up the phone. So you have to make it worth their while and give them a reason to pick up the phone. So that would be, a lot of scripts. Okay. Got that? Perfect. Yes.
I want to know a little bit more about paying for leads and whether or not that's worth it. Particularly, I was looking into like for short sales. There's a whole bunch of emails and companies, kind of coming at you when you're new. And
this
I don't know.
table's driving me.
I don't know.
No OCD.
I don't know what's legit and what's worth the time and the money.
None of it, but okay.
Well, hey, that's a quick answer then. I'll move on.
So the original question you had was whether or not to pay for leads?
Yeah. Yeah, like
Okay.
Rock City, I think 72 Sold is not really available for us, but Google, there's obviously a bunch of places that you can pay for leads, but
Right.
is it worth it? Does it really work for anybody?
Okay, perfect. Okay, did you get that, Christina?
Uh-huh.
Okay, good. What did you get from that?
Paying for leads.
Oh, okay, good, okay. Yes. Oh, no, Mindy.
You skip me?
I know.
I want to know if you have seen a shift and where you are getting most of your leads from throughout your business. So like when you started, maybe it was really big on, I don't know. I don't really know what you use for open houses.
Okay.
Maybe you got a bunch of them from open houses, but you started, but as you've moved along, you have figured out that, hey, with the shift of our
Sure.
world and everything else, social media is where to be. Like,
So have I
Have
seen
you-
a shift in leads, or should you see a shift in where your leads originally came from?
I know that you are super structured
That's right.
and you know how much time you're spending on what. So over time, have you adjusted where you're spending your time because you're seeing that people are responding to certain
Gotcha.
things better than others?
So Christina, have I, as in Mark, seen my leads from different places shift? You may have to help me translate that when I get there.
Okay.
Yes.
Mine kind of goes down with the nurturing of the leads, like the rabbit hole of smart plans, what your favorites are. Once you kind of get some contacts in there, what were your beginning favorites and why, or what do you think is the most effective? Does that make sense?
Smart plans.
Because that's new to,
Which ones are my favorite?
yeah,
Okay.
and why?
I visualize when I'm closing my eyes. Okay. Favorite smart plans. Thank you. And Shel.
Well, for me, it's pretty basic, just different ideas or different ways to lead generate.
Different ways to lead generate, okay? Different ways to lead generate. And this really isn't fair. Christy, right? Christina.
Christina.
Christina, it's really unfair. You're the last one. What's the one thing that you're wanting to get out of here today?
Building confidence to lead generate, like making those phone calls.
How to build confidence
Yeah.
for lead generating. Who has a manual for, let me see your, not manual for a second. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So hopefully today I'll be able to answer, we can get to some of those, get to some of these questions that we have.
You didn't even smear it all the way off.
So with,
That was pretty good.
for real estate, remind participants of the 4 parts with the objective of designing an action plan for each. So we have real estate experts, lead generation, follow-up, and a transaction. Today we begin our lead generation segment. We must find people to work with. These people are known as leads, and they fuel your business growth in the present and in the future. Leads are responsible for growth potential and protect you against market shifts. Lead generation plus lead follow-up, our next big segment, and the fundamentals of real estate. We're going to do this a little different. What I want is we're going to make this more participatory. All right, if you guys would turn to page 5.3. View the lead generator. And if you would start on the top of that page, let's go through that.
The 6 core competencies of a business. 1, lead generation, capture, and convert to appointments. You want me to stop or read all?
Keep going.
2, present to buyers and sellers and get agreement. 3, show buyers and market sellers. 4, write and negotiate contracts. 5, coordinate the sale to closing. 6, manage the money.
Who has questions on this, on the 6 core competencies? share with me your perspective on the 6 core competencies.
Like perspective, how?
And how you interpret that, how you interpret those.
So just number 1, just find leads whichever way you get your leads, and you just go on an appointment, convert them to, you know, a transaction, I guess.
Take number 3, Emma.
Showing buyers and market sellers. Show buyers and market sellers. I would say that's really like the face-to-face part. So that's where you really make the connection and the relationship is when you're with them. Yeah, I feel like that's really important, and to really be yourself at that time.
Take the next one for me.
Number 4. Sorry, I was trying to find where we was at. What was the question again? Sorry.
What does it mean to you?
Oh, like what does that mean to me?
Correct.
Okay. To me, it's just basically like representing your client in the transaction and negotiating on their behalf of the sales price, or if there's any repairs or anything that needs to be done.
Cool. Take the next one for me.
For coordinating the sale to closing, basically, from my perspective, if I'm the buyer's agent, I will make sure we get the inspection done. I'll explain it to them if they'll need something. Whatever I'll know, I'll get them estimates. Well, we're gonna basically get from after signing contract, so we can get a smooth transaction to closing.
Cool. Next one.
Manage the money. I would say it's just kind of like what you do with it after the transaction happens. So after you do all the things they said, like how much money do you put back into your business? How much do you spend on lead generating and making appointments and all that other stuff? So basically, yeah, just what do you do with the money is.
Awesome. Take the next one for me. Oh no, we're lead generation myths and fears. I think lead generation is really difficult.
That's a bunch of bogus crap, isn't it?
It really is. What's
really all the, it's just this part right here, right? People are afraid to, I think more people are just afraid of either somebody's going to come up with a, you know, an objection or tell you where to go, tell you not to bother them. And after 1 or 2 of those, I think people just give up. That's right, you know?
Right. Who else wants to chime in on that one?
You just got to overcome your fear, man. That's it.
How do you overcome your fear?
By doing it more.
What's that?
Just do it.
If it was that easy, everybody would be doing it, right?
Yeah, but most people don't.
By overcoming the fear of rejection.
Oh, say that again. I'm so sorry.
By overcoming the fear of rejection. I think that's what that really means. You're scared to get rejected. That's what it means to me.
Next is I don't have time to lead generate. Lead generation fears and myths. Someone take that one. I don't have time to lead generate.
I think of that as like you do, even if it's as simple as like we talked about this week, like liking people's or contacting them, or when something comes up, like commenting on things, like you have more than you think. Think about how much time you spend on social media, just like vegging out or watching TikToks or like reels.
Sure.
So if you start engaging on some of them, then you're somewhat generating leads and nurturing them.
Yeah, I can see that. Fear or myth, I don't know what to say.
Learn scripts.
Who said learn scripts?
I did. I just said learn scripts. When I went to Bold, there's all kinds of scripts. So
there are all kinds of scripts.
Some people are easier on the phone than others, you know. Some people are better at meeting face to face than others. It's like door knocking when I go.
Yeah.
Where do you find the scripts?
There are where do we find scripts?
In general.
Me personally, or
He said when he goes to Bold or something. I don't know what he said.
okay. So explain what Bold is.
Bold is like, you know, if you went to Quantum Leap last month in Kansas City, it's like that multiplied by 100. Bold is just basically you are thrown right into the middle of everything. Like you literally have to make phone calls. You're in groups. Like it's really totally 100% active. Like it's worth every penny. It costs money to go to it. They had it last year. I forget where it was at. I think it was in Springfield here. But Bold is, you know, it's just worth every daggum penny that for the experience. To overcome a lot of your fears, you go to Bold.
Right.
It's just an incredible learning curve for a lot of people that don't know how to handle everything or anything.
Michelle, you've been to Bold. What's your take on Bold?
Oh, Bold is wonderful. Like it completely changes your mindset in a way that you can imagine. Amplifies everything, gives you knowledge, and you know, it makes you want to go ahead and do things that you're not thinking about it. So it's pretty amazing. I've been there
separates
twice.
the men from the boy. I'm not trying to say it that way. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Bold just you're gonna know within not the first class, but probably the second one, whether or not you're cut out for it, and then you're not really cut out for the real estate business.
Yeah. So Bold stands for Business Objective Life by Design. And as a realtor, we have to always invest in ourselves. One of the Bold laws that I live by is your business will grow to the extent that you do. And so I've been to Bold 14 times. And each time I've been to Bold, I've been at a different place in my business. And so therefore, I'm able to, different pieces resonate with me depending on where I'm at. So I would recommend if a person is wanting to learn the business, go to Bold, because Bold will teach you how to be a realtor and to be successful. And if you listen to what those principles are, there is no failure in real estate. You've been to Bold before, right, Mindy?
Yeah.
Okay. What was your take on Bold?
It's going to challenge you in ways that you haven't been challenged before, but it does. It's probably the mindset is the thing. My biggest takeaway was, you know, when you're there, you can't use the word but, you can't use the, you know, you can't use the word try. There is no try. You're either doing it or you're not. And those things, I mean, it's not just for real estate, it's for your life in general. It's just some great principles to live by and kind of expands your mind to more optimistic thinking.
How many people have been to Bold? I know Michelle, Mindy, Christine, what was your take from Bold?
Very motivational.
Okay.
It's nice to see that everybody else feels the same as you do about lead gen, as far as not knowing what to say and what to do. And it's really helpful and with those things and motivating you to do them, especially when you're around, it's just being around a group of people that are all in the same mindset, and it's that right there is motivational and kind of exciting.
Thank you. Now, Bold, it's not free. It's $800. And so everyone wants to make a lot of money, and being that your business will grow to the extent that you do. Sometimes you just have to invest in yourself if you want to learn more. And real estate is definitely one of those businesses that you can make as much money as you want to make. It just depends on how hard you as an individual, really wants to work. So it's got a few myths up here. I think lead generation is really difficult. And the response was, I was confusing effort with enjoyment. Lead generation is actually easy. It's just not fun. How many of you all have time blocked on a daily basis to do your lead generation right now? Okay. What does that look like? What time do you have?
In the morning from like 9 to 11.
Okay. And how committed to that time block are you?
Well, I could be more committed to that time block.
Tell me more about that.
Because if there's something else that I need to make it like as an appointment rather than it be something that I do every day. And if something else comes up, then I will do that first. I just need to set that as an appointment for myself. Because like this morning, I had a friend that wanted me to help her with her. She's doing a job interview, so she wanted me to help her with that. So I did that with her. So it's just setting that appointment for myself and committing to that.
Okay, how could you build a bunker so that you could make that a commitment to yourself? What are some activities that you could do to ensure that would happen on a daily basis?
Time block it on my calendar.
Okay.
And actually make that appointment on my calendar.
Okay. What are some things that pop up during your lead generation timeframe?
My phone going off.
Your phone what?
Going off, like text messages and social media, like Facebook Messenger and things like that.
Does everyone hear what Christina is saying? And who else has those same challenges when they get ready to lead generate? And so what happens, whatever we do today in lead generation is going to impact us or affect us in the next 90 days. So if we're not lead generating today, what's going to happen to our paychecks in 90 days from today?
They won't exist.
What's that?
They won't exist.
They won't exist. So many times there ends up being too much month left over at the end of the money. Has anyone ever had that problem before? Okay, great. Put them up. If you've had that problem, raise your hand. And as Gary Keller says, keep the main thing the main thing. And what is the main thing? Lead generation. And so there's a book called The One Thing. How many of you all have read The One Thing? The focusing question and the one thing is what?
I'm serious. I don't.
Mindy, what's the focus?
Your big why. What is your motivating factor? And if you can always go back to that.
So what's the one thing? What's the one thing?
The one thing that I can do today to make
such that by doing it,
so everything else becomes unnecessary or easier.
That's right. What's the one thing that I can do, or what's the one thing that I can do today? Oh my God! What's it again?
Oh, I can't
what's the one thing?
Right?
What's the one thing that I can do
today so that?
Oh my gosh! I can't think of it. What's the one thing that I should do today? Oh my gosh! I used to have it memorized. And so, what's the one thing that I should do today that should? Will you Google that? What's my Google reference? Let me know. Let me know when you come up with it. No, I don't have time to lead generate. Michelle, read that response.
I had an issue of making time to lead generate and protecting that time.
I had an issue of making time to lead generate and protecting that time. Somebody take that and somebody take it and give us your thoughts on what that means.
You can put it on your calendar, but it's the protecting is the hardest part. Like you have to get in the habit of, like, let's say every day you have to go to an office and you don't pull up email and you don't pull up all the, it's a discipline.
Yeah. And we're all guilty of it. I mean, we just are. I'm the king of it. Next one. I don't know. Huh? What? Go for it.
Ready for it? Okay. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else is easier or unnecessary?
Say it again.
What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else is easier or unnecessary?
I challenge each and every one of you, write that focus question down. Keep it on your rear view mirror. Keep it on your bathroom vanity. Keep it wherever you want to keep it so that it is top of mind on a daily basis. So Oscar, if I ask you, what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it would make everything else easier or necessary? So what's the one thing that you can do, Oscar, such that by doing it would make everything else easier or unnecessary for you and your family? What would that be?
Instead or sister?
What's the one thing that I can do such that by doing it would make everything else easier or unnecessary?
Stay committed to what I set myself to do.
Okay, go deeper then.
So
be more specific.
So like per se working for somebody per se, right? You do what they tell you, you show up whenever they tell you, and you have, by not doing that for myself, it's like I have more respect for them than I do for myself because I'm not willing to commit to what I tell myself I want to do. But Does that make sense?
It does. Pertain that question and the folks in question to real estate. What's the one thing that you can do such that by doing it would make everything else easier or necessary? And I'm not picking on you.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine. You're fine. Click call.
Okay. Click call and what else?
Do it over and over and over and don't bullshit around during the, you know, during that lead gen time.
Right. So that would be time block. Build up your bunker to time block so you make those things happen on a daily basis. Because in bold, they teach you to make 20 contacts a day. If you'll just make 20 contacts a day, 20 conversations a day, that's all it is. 20 two-way conversations a day where real estate is brought up and as a topic of the conversation. If you'll make 20 conversations a day, soon you may have problems in life, but money will soon not be one of them if you will make 20 conversations a day. One of the bold classes that I went to in Arkansas, the guy's name was, what was it, Michelle?
In Arkansas?
Yeah.
Michael Flores.
Michael Flores. Michael Flores, what he did, he took 20 business cards, rubber band them together, and what did he do with them, Michelle?
Just give it away to the people, like I'm in a contest, would you take one of these cards? Because I have to talk to 20 people today. So he introduced himself, this is my business card. Do you know anyone who's looking to buy or sell?
Is that my phone or your, Michelle? Would you mind eating that from me? So it's simple things like that that'll get you business. I wear my name badge. I can't tell you how many times I've had people to ask me, what's the market like? And I would reply, which market are you talking about? Are you looking at buying or are you looking at selling? And then developing a relationship and a conversation out of that. And it gets you business. I mean, one deal is a deal. I wouldn't want to give the money back for the amount of money that I made on those transactions. So it's just anything that you can do in general during the day. The next thing is, take the next one for me. Can you read it from here?
What is the next one? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I had to get on the path of mastering the dialogue skills needed in this business.
What does that mean to you?
Being confident and not having to think about it. When you do it so often and you practice, you know what to say and you don't have to think about it and it's not scary.
To me, it's coming here.
What now?
It's coming here and being surrounded by people that are already using the language. You almost learn it by osmosis. It just becomes part of your vocabulary when you hear Jen Davis and Mark Stewart and Dan Holt say things over and over again. So I think coming to class is huge.
How many of you all script practice daily? How many of you script practice at all? So I brought a calendar because one of the first things, not one of the first things, I was really hard-headed when I first came because I didn't think that I needed to be at work by 8:15 or 8:30 every day. So one of the things that I learned with Bold about 6 years ago, there was an exercise where you would color coordinate a calendar. And I was hard-headed and I didn't think I needed it. And but every day I found reasons not to lead generate and not to lead generate and not to script practice. I didn't think there were enough hours in the day to do any of this stuff. And so seriously, it took me 2 or 3 years to actually come up with a time block. And so who knows what the 5 things are for a realtor's job description? Anybody, blurt them out.
Lead generation.
Except for you, Michelle.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
I know lead generation and open house.
What now?
Lead generation and open houses.
Okay, lead generation. Okay,
as one. Because she said it, but open house was my guess.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. So open house. Okay, our job description consists of 5 things. It's all we do as a realtor. Everything else we leverage off to other people as we're able to. So write these things down. Number one, what is it, Michelle? Lead generation. Lead generation is one of your 5 things. Second thing is lead follow-up. What is lead follow-up, anybody? Tell me about that.
Call.
Speak up, like big boy voice, outdoor voice.
The second call, for you to follow up on the lead that you got, so you don't make it go loose, so they don't go to other people.
Right. So how many people have told everyone in their SOI that they're a realtor? And of those people that you've told that you are a realtor, how many of you have found out or either driven by their home and have seen another sign in their yard? How many of you have had that awkward conversation with someone? They were going to use you as a buyer's agent, but they didn't want to bother you. So they just called a sign in the yard and used that agent. Has that ever happened to anybody? Okay. And I'm guilty of it too. And that's lead follow-up. That's why it's so important to have command. That's why it's so important to have a CRM. Because what you can do is follow up with them. And they may want to buy a house in, yes.
Sorry, no, okay. I was just putting my glasses on.
They may want to buy a house in 3 years. So call me back in 2.5 years. You've lost it. Or call me back, I want to buy a house in a year. If you don't call them back in 3 months, they're probably already bought a house by 6 months. And so just cut it in half of what they say. They say, "We're going to buy a house in 2 years," they're going to buy it in a year. So lead generation, lead follow-up, that is maintaining contact with your database, however you want to do it. For me, I suck at command, I suck at data, I suck at data entry. I don't want to do it. Put me on a phone call with someone, I'll do it. So one of the first things that I did when I came to KW is I hired a virtual assistant. It's $1,300 a month. And my virtual assistant, we use Zoom. We used Zoom back then. And then we actually use Ring Central now. And so she comes to the meeting and she has a list of people that I have to call because she's inputting people in my database. She's setting up the smart plans. So she goes through every day before she finishes her shift and figures out who we have to call the next day. If I didn't have my virtual assistant, my lead generation and my lead follow-up would be in the tank, just because that's not my mindset. We're not all great at everything. There's a few people, but I'm just not one of them. And so lead follow-up, you can get a tremendous amount of business from your SOI, whoever it is you're in contact with, just by having a great lead follow-up system. So like when I first came to Keller Williams, I was selling 21 to 25 houses a year. After I implemented my leverage, I went from selling that number to selling between 50 and 60 houses a year. And how I was able to do that is by leveraging other people to do the things that I wasn't good at, that allowed me to do the things that I was great at, and that's talk to people. And that's giving out business cards like Michelle. Like my fiance, we're at dinner, and I'll ask a waiter, I said, have you ever thought about being a realtor? Or do you know anyone that's looking to buy or sell a home? I would ask anybody that question. And she's like, why are you asking that question? It embarrassed her, but I love what I do. Absolutely. People say, if you find a job that if you find something that you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's me. I show up to the office and I get the opportunity to help people buy and or sell a home and help educate people on what it takes to be successful. And it all starts with lead generation and doing your 20%. Leverage off your 80%. There is that Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. Anyone heard that before? What is it?
It's 20% of your action. I'm not being wrong. Results in 80% of your results or something like that.
Exactly. So 20% of the agents are responsible for 80% of the results on the board. And just vice versa, 80% of the agents are responsible for 20% of the business that's done. What percent of the business do you want? I mean, what percent of your business are you willing to, what are you willing to contribute in order to be that person you want to be? Kind of get sidetracked here. All right. Where's my mouse? Here we go. All right. Next.
We were doing these 5 things of real
Five
estate.
things.
Oh, yeah, I told you I'm
We did
ADD.
lead generate and lead follow up.
Right. Okay. Thank you. The next thing is we're doing lead generation calls and we're doing lead follow-up calls to get what? Appointments. So the third thing is appointments, or go on appointments. Go on appointments. Thanks, Mindy.
There for you.
I feel like I was missing something between getting back to the clicker. The fourth thing is lead generation, lead follow-up, go on appointments. The next thing is we're getting the appointment so that we can now negotiate contracts. So the fourth thing is negotiate contracts. And the fifth thing was one of the main reasons I came to KW. And that is when I was at the old brokerage, they would tell you to go get business, make phone calls, and, you know, do open houses. And, but what is it that you say to all these people you send me call them? I mean, people, they get tired of you calling them for who do you know I want to ourselves. That's script. I mean, script and role play. So the last thing is scripts and role play. Dialogues and role play is what it's now referred to. Dialogues and role play. So lead generate, lead follow up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts, and scripts and role play. Guaranteed. If you will commit to doing those 5 things, if you will make a commitment to doing those 5 things, you will be successful in real estate. But you have to do those 5 things. Any questions? How do I know it works? Because I've proved the system, and I was a terrible lead generator to begin with. I did not have the discipline to do it on a daily basis. But nothing comes before lead generation. Chicken or the egg? Okay. Lead generation is the number 1 thing that we can do. All right, let's move on to the next page. We have these people here. All right. So refer to the participant guide. Say, lead generation is the number 1 key to being successful in real estate. It doesn't matter how great you are at selling houses. If no one knows you're in the business of selling houses, and if they do not feel connected to you in a way that has them reach out when they are ready to sell, why are you in real estate? I've got great news though. You already have 2 key components to lead generation: a sphere of influence, or SOI, and the database. I prefer to say SOI. I can't say sphere. It just comes out wrong all the time. So I always say SOI. So you have your SOI and your database. Who has heard of sphere of influence, or SOI? Who's heard of sphere of influence, or who's heard of SOI? Okay. What is an SOI? Anybody?
Friends, family.
Friends and family. Okay. I've got the real answer. And the real answer is it is a group of people you know and who know you. This is the group of people who know, like, and trust you, and therefore they are the people most likely to do business with you. Got that? And how do you access this group? And how do you access this group?
Through your phone? Yeah.
Okay. What you?
I seen that it was some in the back of this. I seen that it was some in the back of this.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. How do you access this group? Who said what? Your phone. Yeah, that's right. Your phone. with your phone most likely. All right. So use the example above or change the commission amounts shown on the slide. Change the commission on the slide to be the average commission in your market and the income opportunity to be line D multiplied by line E. So you guys have an exercise in your book, is that right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm just filling out the example, but yeah, there's an exercise.
All right.
It's blank, it's this one.
What page is that on?
That is on page 5-12. All right, so use the example above or change the commission amount shown on the slide. Change the commission on the slide to the average commission in your market and income. Okay, online D&E. Okay. Everyone get out your phone and go to your contacts. Everyone get out your phone and go to your contacts. I want you to scroll down to the bottom. At the bottom of your contact list, you should find the total number of contacts in your phone. Write down that number on line A in your participant guide. So it looks like some of you guys have kind of worked through that. If you haven't worked through that, write it to the right of it.
I have a new Google phone and I don't know where to find that.
Just scroll all the way to the bottom.
It's not there for Google. I know Timrose at the top, but it's like so new. And I don't know how, I'm not.
The 3 dots on there?
Yeah.
Click those, see if you can press like manage contact.
Well, I think maybe it helps with feedback or something though.
Let me know when everyone finds the number of contacts. Everyone find that number? Okay. According to NAR, National Association of Realtors, the typical person moves every 8 years. And according to the 2020 census, the home ownership rate in the US is at 64.8%. If we can assume that 64.8% of your database is a homeowner and they will move every 8 years, this means that 8.1% or 0.81 of your database will buy, sell, or buy and sell a home every 8 years. Let's use these numbers to figure out how many people you already know who are going to buy or sell this year. To do this, multiply the number of contacts in your database by 0.81 and put the results on line B. You new to the area?
Yes, sir.
All right, so 39, I'm like, man. Are you new to the area as well? Where'd you from? Okay. What brought you from Houston?
Yeah, no, it's
Out there.
Okay.
Contacts are from California.
Have my contacts for people I know.
I look like an American.
Who has the largest number of people in their phone? Who has what? Give me some numbers.
2,441.
Wow. Okay. Who can beat that?
You got restaurants. You got all the restaurants, don't you?
Yeah,
Phone numbers,
right.
auto dial phone numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Give me some other numbers that people have.
321.
321. Okay, good.
224.
224. Okay. Man, you take the cake. How many do you have?
I can't find it, so I just put 200.
Okay.
Can't find it on my phone.
Okay. How many do you have?
1,249.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you got a number 2. All
I
right.
don't know half of them, but I don't know half of them. You know, it's like an agent called me one time or a.
Yeah, some of them are agents.
Right. I know I save in my phone There's so many times where realtors, especially over at Murney, they never give their cell phone number out. And there's many other brokers, but it seems to stick out with me more than any other brokerage. So what I'll do when I get a call back from them, they're going to call me from their cell phone. I save their cell phone number. So therefore, when I really need in touch with somebody, I've already got their cell phone number. I don't have to go through the receptionist over there.
If you call me, I'm going to save your number.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's use these numbers to figure out how many. Okay. Go ahead and round down so we can be conservative. In the example on the slide, if you know 250 people, then it is likely that 20 of them will buy or sell a house this year. Let's go further. Let's assume that of all the people in your SOI, 10% of them refer you a client this year. That seems doable, right? Okay, you gotta let them know you're selling houses. On line C, multiply your number of contacts by 0.1. This is how many referrals you would get if just 10% of the people you know referred you business. Okay, what number do you come up with 10%?
B and C is 225.
So that number is number of sales and people that are going to do business from your SOI, is that right?
Yeah, because the first B was 20 people.
Okay.
Oh, wait, sorry, I'm looking at the example, sorry. So yeah, 101 was potential.
Okay.
Out of 1,200 people, 100 of them are going to buy or sell this year.
Wow.
And then referrals, that number is 124.
How does that make you feel? Or how do you feel when you hear that number?
I from past records of what I've been doing, that is not the case. I do get 4 to 5 referrals.
Okay.
Is more realistic.
Okay.
So like, even if it's skewed a little bit, I mean, it shows it's possible.
Okay.
But I gotta bust my butt a lot more.
Okay. What could you do to improve your closing percentages based on the numbers that we're getting here today?
There's a lot I can do.
What's one thing that you could do?
Anything. Prior to this, everything kind of just fell in my lap, honestly.
Okay.
Because I didn't have any kind of training or lead generation or any systems. It was all do what you want, do what you can.
You were entrepreneurial.
Right.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Who knows of the E2P principle? Anyone ever heard that before? You've heard it before, right, Mindy? Yep. Who else besides Mindy has heard of the E2P model before? Yes, you have? Mm-hmm. Explain it. Share with me.
Entrepreneurial to purposeful.
Uh-huh.
So I guess just taking your business and doing the daily task and making it personal, making those relationships, putting purpose to what you're actually doing.
Okay, Mindy?
Well, when I think of entrepreneurial, I'm thinking like I'm just winging it. I'm doing things that I think are pretty cool, might be kind of fun, trying this, trying that, whatever. As purposeful is like, hey, look, if you do this every day and you do it with purpose, it will generate the business you need.
That's right. So when I was at Murney selling 21 to 24 houses, that was my God-given talent that allowed me to sell 21 to 24 houses a year. When I started selling 50 to 60 houses a year, I began to become purposeful. I began becoming purposeful between 23 and 50 to 60. And so by going to Bold and learning different things at each Bold I went to, I was purposeful, and then I could implement those strategies into my business, which then got me to the level of where I was selling more houses than I was before. And so by you guys coming to Ignite and Bold and Mega Camp and Family Reunion and whatever other training class you go to, now you're becoming purposeful and you're learning those things that you didn't know, because you don't know what you don't know. And so immediately when I looked at, and when you told me your numbers and knowing what you've done and how hard you've worked, script practice, when we look at our 20%, lead generate, lead follow up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts and scripts and role play. By becoming better and proficient and masterful at script practice, that's going to give you those conversations that you'll need to have on a daily basis with your SOI in order to nurture them down the road so that you will be their realtor of choice and just being top of mind awareness for them. That's where I mean, because there's a lot of business there for you. You believe that?
Yes.
What do you think about what I just said?
I liked that what you said. I can relate to what you came from the most probably to this. And that's, I was winging it. Like I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
And so I've been winging it for all this time.
Right.
And so I need to find the purpose and figure out what the purpose is.
Right.
To help me get to level up.
Yeah. And I share my personal experience because I've never met most of you guys. And how do you know what I'm telling you actually works? So I give you my personal experience, and that's why it's not, hey, look at me. It's not that at all. It's just let you know, because look at Jen Davis sold 127 houses in a year. That's somebody, I mean, to really listen to on how to do it. We all have our own, you know, we all have our own stories.
Mark, do you know how many she sold the year before she came to KW?
No.
20 or 30?
I think it was 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she went from entrepreneurial.
She was at 14 before she joined the team.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, with Drew Lewis, she was at 14.
Yeah, now she's president of MAPS, is she? President of, is it MAPS Coaching? Yeah. Yeah. So anyone know what MAPS Coaching is? I know you do. Okay, so MAPS Coaching, it's a company that is in the umbrella of KW, and the coaches have to have a track record of 2 years of 75 sales in order to be a coach, also be a coach, and then you hire them to help you grow your business. And so it's that old thing, you don't know what you don't know. So by hiring a coach, they give you these principles, they don't give them to you, you pay for them, but they give you these principles in order to become better. So whenever I came to KW in 2015, my first bold, all these people were standing up that were in MAPS Coaching because the bold coach said, who's in mastery coaching? These people stood up. Everybody that stood up were agents that I wanted to be like, because they were selling lots of houses and they were making lots of money. The only problem is at that particular time, I didn't have an extra grand laying around the house to pay a MAPS coach. So by the next time bold came around, I wanted to be like those people. And then, so I found a way to make an investment in myself in order to spend $1,000 a month for coaching. And it's been, I talked to Adam Grady before. Everybody knows who Adam is, right? So I talked to Adam because I was looking for all the reasons not to do MAPS coaching. I'm like, who wants to spend $1,000 a month? And so I went to Adam and I said, Adam, what's your take on MAPS coaching? This is back in 2016 at our old building. And he said, Mark, I'll sum it up real quick for you. He said, if the shift were to happen today, this is, fast forward 7 years, shift actually did happen. But if the shift were to happen today, back in 2016, MAPS coaching would have been the last thing he would have gotten rid of. And that's from Adam Grady, who's like, I mean, 500-600 houses a year. So at some point in your life, as a realtor, you'll want to hire a coach to get you to whatever level of productivity you want to have. Question? Why so quiet? Okay. Where were we at? So I can get back there.
D.
Huh? D? Oh, okay.
Well, we need to, the average commission.
So using, there we go. Now on line D, add line B to line C, and you'll get your number, your potential sales for the year just from your SOI, and a pretty conservative number of people they could refer to you. In our example, it's 45 people. So did everyone work to that number? If you haven't worked to that number, let me know. Because I want to know before I call on you. And then say, oh, I haven't got there yet. What's your number?
43.
So what does that number tell you?
That I could potentially have 43 closings this year.
Okay. And the one thing that you can do to get you those 43 closings is what?
Lead gen.
Lead gen. And how do you make that happen on a daily basis?
Be consistent, block off time and just do it.
How many of y'all heard to do your lead generation in the morning? How many of you heard to do your lead generation anytime during the day? By show of hands, who does their lead generation in the morning? Hold them up high so I can see. Okay. Who does the lead generation in the afternoon? So hold them up high. Who doesn't do lead generation? Raise your hand. No, I appreciate that. We're just being transparent in here and vulnerable in here. So how many of you feel as though contact ratio is higher in the afternoon? Okay.
Higher in the evening.
Yeah. Yet, how many of you all always hear to do your lead generation in the morning? I may have asked that already, but how many of you all heard to do your lead generation in the morning?
Get it done for the day.
Yeah. Because how many of you all have set out to do your lead generation in the morning? It doesn't get done in the morning. You tell yourself you're going to do it in the afternoon. And how many times out of 100 do you actually get your lead generation done in the afternoon?
0.
I've been there. I've been there. And so Chris Russell said, get your lead generation done in the morning. And so that's what I do. I get my lead generation done in the morning. If I get a voicemail, I'll leave a voicemail behind. I would say, hey, this is Mark. I was giving you a call. Hey, I hope you and the family are doing well. And, you know, I saw that you guys just went on a trip. It looks like you guys had a lot of fun there. The reason I was giving you guys a call is coming up in the next couple of months, we're going to be having our client appreciation event. I just want to make sure that you earmark that on your calendar, just so you'll know it's coming up. I'm going to call you back sometime next month to give you a date of when that's going to happen. In the meantime, I hope you guys have a great day and talk to you next month. And so put something on their voicemail so they hear that you're calling. You want to be top of mind awareness. And so the next time you call, they might be answering the phone because now they want to know about that client appreciation event. That's one thing that I implemented in my business after going into mastery coaching, because my coach back then, Heather, said, you have to give people a reason to answer the phone. And if you're calling every time, who do you know is wanting to buy or sell a home? Soon people will not answer your phone. So by having client appreciation events, then that gives you a reason to touch base with them, whether it be by phone call, text, email, whatever it might be. What was your number on the bottom of the page?
I used that because mine didn't tell me how many contacts I have in my phone.
Okay. If you were to guess, how many contacts do you have in your phone?
Ooh, not very many. I'm not good at saving numbers. I'd say maybe 90, 80 or so.
Okay. All right. Figure out that number and do the calculation. Once you get the calculation, I'll give you my phone number. I want you to text me what that number is. It's important. How you participate in here is how you participate out there. If you're half and half in here, you'll be half and half out there. If you're none in here, you'll be none out there. If you're all in here, you'll be all in out there. So figure out what that number is and text it to me.
All right.
Okay. What's your number?
9. I have 100 contacts.
9. So 9 is, what number is that for you?
For what?
The number 9 that you have, what does that represent?
Oh, the potential closings, potential, I guess, referrals and opportunities.
That's in your
B,
database.
right? Oh. That's your B, and then your C is 10.
Yeah.
And your D is 19.
B is 9.
Your D is, okay.
B should be 19, right? Because you got 100 times 0.08. Sorry, I'm a math geek. Is 9. You got
100 times 0.081 is 8.1.
Wow.
I think you guys might be missing the 0 because I know you said 0.81 like 3 times, but up there it does have like a star by it. Like maybe they messed it up and it's 0.081 maybe.
I have in parentheses 0.081.
Yeah.
Okay. What did I say? 0.8?
Yeah,
Oh, my
0.8.
bad.
That's okay. I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's 8.1. And then that times 0.1 is 0.8, so 8.1 plus 0.8 is around 0.9. I rounded up on that one.
Good, you're optimistic, I like it. What's your number? Which one? What's that? 40. You have 40 potential pieces of business from your phone.
Yes.
Okay. How does it make you feel?
Good.
Tell me about that. What's good mean to you?
I'm kind of starting out, so like 10 actually seems good to me right now, but 40 would be a goal to hit.
Okay. And how can you get there to hit your 40?
Time blocking, setting down and doing the lead generating, and then setting aside the stuff that will distract me.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you're not going to do it at all, and 10 being, man, I'm there, I'm doing it every day. I mean, nothing's going to come in my way. What's your level of commitment to doing what you have to do in order to get the number that you have on your paper?
I'm gonna say 8.
Okay. What would make that a 10?
I feel like the more closings I have, maybe push that up to a 10.
So on a scale of 10, between 1 and 10, your level of commitment to getting the number that you have in your phone is an 8, right?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me more about why it's an 8 and not a 10.
Procrastinating. Motivation.
So,
confidence. Confidence.
Okay. What motivates you? What's your big why? Why are you in real estate? Why do you do this? Why do you get out of bed in the morning to get beat up on the phone? What pushes you?
I want to prove myself, kind of technically, like, so it kind of goes back to family issues and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Growing up, and then I also want to like kind of prove myself to them, like I can be successful, and because like growing up, I never really had successful a figure in my life.
Sure.
At the time, but yeah.
Okay. Permission to go further.
Yes.
So if you have a commitment to show these things to your family, is an 8 going to get you there, or is a 10 going to get you there?
A 10.
So how do you stay at a 10?
How do I stay at a 10?
How do you get to a 10, and how do you stay at a 10? You know what? I'll stop right there, but think about it. Because you're here for a reason, right? And that's to be successful. The one thing about realtors is this: you cannot be a successful realtor and not be committed. I mean, I know you're working, you're at another job, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it's different. Other of us, if we don't have another job and something that we have to pay the bills, if we're not all in at a 10, what are we really doing? Because selling houses isn't the easiest thing in the world. You guys feel me on that? So thank you for participating with me on that. Because I didn't even know I was going to do it, but I wanted to ask you a few questions. Your number is what?
58.
58.
Yes.
Nice. And you have how many people in your database?
321.
321.
Most of them are from different states.
Okay.
I just moved here, so.
Man, there is so much money you can get in referrals. How would you like to make 25% off of a closing that you had nothing to do with except for connecting the agent and the client to?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Michelle knows all about talking to those people. All right, cool. Talk with Shanna. She can help you with that, or look me up and I'll help you with that as well. Okay. What's your number?
6.
6. Okay. How do you feel about that?
I'm not ready. Yes.
You know,
I feel like I have to be fairly lazy to only get 6 in a year. Like,
say that again, what now?
Like, I feel like I'm gonna do way better than 6.
Okay.
But, I mean, that's what I've got in.
From your phone?
My
Okay.
phone.
Yeah, there's other ways of getting leads.
Yep.
What's your number?
33.
33, nice job. Now, how do you make that happen with the other profession that you have?
I'm holding myself accountable. I work extra hours.
Yeah.
I have to commit.
That's right.
Can't do it part-time, even though I am. I'm trying not to.
Sure, I get it.
I'm just committing. I'm putting in the extra hours.
I understand. You
At
do what you
night,
gotta
I do my lead gen at night too. So.
You're doing it.
I'll
That's all
mix
that
it up. I
matters.
just change my time blocking. I have to change sometimes every week. I don't not do it. If I lose 2 hours, I make it up that week. I have to.
There's
I can't push that 2 hours to the next week.
You said you can't?
I can't because I won't.
Right. Well, there's a saying, if you erase, you must replace. Your number at the bottom?
32.
Nice job. Okay. How do you feel about that?
I have a long way to go. I want at least 4 or 5 zeros behind it.
Okay. I like that. Your number?
33.
33. Okay. How do you feel about that?
I need to be purposeful in what I'm doing and with my SOI around. So,
okay.
And just communicating with them and reaching out.
And you mentioned the word purposeful. How can you be more purposeful with your schedule?
When I get home from work, just decide this is what I'm doing and I block that off and not, relax after I get done working.
Sure. Awesome. Your number?
36.
Great. How do you feel about that?
That kind of blows my mind, honestly. I think I'd be happy with like 6 or 10, but that's a pretty good number. I think.
Cool. If you did accomplish that number, how would you feel?
Pretty confident, pretty amazing.
And what is
like
amazing?
I could do more.
Yeah, and what does amazing look like to you?
I think just the confidence that I can do this, being new to it, and being totally different from, like, I come from the medical field and then raising kids. And so this is something completely new. So I think it's a pretty great feeling and a confidence booster to learn something so different and then to be successful at it too.
How many hours, what do your hours look like that are available to you during the day in order to do your 20% actions? Yeah.
I think, well, number of hours, total hours, probably, I could probably do 4 to 6.
Okay. From when to when?
I'm starting at 8
to
get kids off to school and come home and start on it.
Okay.
To 2 when I gotta go pick them up.
As you pick them up at 2?
Yeah.
Okay. And so from those hours from 8 to 2, how committed are you to making those time blocks and that commitment to get what you have as a goal right there?
I'm at a 10. Like I'm
Awesome.
ready to like really put it in the calendar, and the hard part is shifting the other things around, and appointments and all of the things that I am responsible for. So I really want to do that, and I really plan to try to work that schedule around those 6 hours.
Yeah, I can tell in your voice, you're gonna do it. Minnie, what's your number?
It's ridiculous.
What is it?
400. Yeah. I think I did the math wrong, actually, even though I'm a math geek. So I think it was 217.
217. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, that ain't happening. Yeah.
Why not?
Well, I'm very much in her position. I don't actually work full time.
Okay.
And that would absolutely overwhelm me because I'm a perfectionist and I want to do every one of them perfect. And I don't want that. That's a burden.
Okay.
Okay. I need to be hiring a lot of people.
Leveraging.
Yes.
What's your number, Christina?
43.
43. How do you feel about that?
I feel good about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does good mean?
I mean, it actually feels a little overwhelming, just freshly starting out and getting into it, and just everything else. Because I got my license in June and started here right after that. And I left a 15-year career to start doing this. So it does seem a little overwhelming because there's so much to learn and so much to know and practice. But
What was your career before real estate?
I was in public safety. I was a supervisor at 911.
Okay.
So I'm used to talking to people in a different way.
Yeah.
So I'm having to relearn dialogue rather than asking questions and being direct with people and actually kind of letting go a little bit and having conversations and dialogue with people.
Awesome. Your number.
I think you started with me.
Oh, it did?
225. But I feel like her a lot because as an older person and with kids, and then I do house rehabs and rental houses, I'm like her where I'm like, I try to crunch everything I can do in 4 to 5 hours.
Okay.
That's my work day, if I'm honest.
Okay. Okay. So you do flips?
Yeah, I don't flip them. I fix them and then I rent them. So
Gotcha,
to me,
okay.
a flip is you fix it and then turn around and sell it immediately.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like, I guess
Yeah.
I have a different mindset of what I think it is, but yes.
So your goal in real estate, what is your goal in real estate? To continue that? To be
Yes.
a realtor or, I mean?
Both, because to
Okay.
me, like that's the extra investment money. Like you're an independent contractor at this stage if you'd have no other job. So to me, investing in other real estate is the only way to secure my retirement, my kids' the future. And that's I'd rather put money in real estate than the stock market.
Sure, especially now, right?
Yeah, so.
All right, thank you. Michelle, what's your goal?
My number is 133. But
Okay.
I think it's unrealistic
It's unrealistic? Okay, why is it unrealistic?
because of my sphere.
Okay.
It's not just the fact that they're not from here, it's just a lifestyle.
Okay.
Just being used to be on the road, not belonging to anywhere.
Mhm.
So it's hard for people, like circus people,
Right,
to get established in one place.
right.
They don't want that.
So your annual transaction number is what?
133.
133 transactions a year based on how many folks do you have in your phone?
1497.
1,400?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. All right. Anybody have any questions so far? Okay, let's take a short stop here. What's one thing that you have picked up so far from us going through the material? But give me one thing that you guys have picked up that you can use tomorrow going forward in your business that we've talked about today.
I absolutely appreciate you sharing this with me. I'm going to not mimic it completely, but adapt it to myself. But at least I've got the key components kind of set out and I see how you're doing it. I think that's going to help me build my own.
Thank you.
I love it.
Anyone else have an aha before we move on? Yes.
I think just finding that one thing that's going to help, because when you start, there are so many one things that you have to do. And so I think just for me, like trying to hone in on the one thing that's really going to make a difference for me.
So I went to family reunion whenever I first met Jeff Woods, and I heard that what's the one thing that you can do such that by doing it would make everything else easier or unnecessary. And I just thought about that for a long time, as in months. And I'm thinking, time block? What's the one thing that I can do such that by doing it would make everything else easier or unnecessary? It took me a long time because I kept drilling down. I mean, is it time block? I mean, what is my one thing? Is it lead generation? I mean, what is my one thing? And my one thing that I had to do in order to make my lead generation possible on a daily basis was a time block so that I could actually fit everything into my life. And so that's why I came up with a calendar. All right.
When you're doing your lead gen, we kind of talked about it just a little bit, we started to, and then we kind of went somewhere else.
Right.
But we were talking about building those bunkers, and then we got into the one thing. And I don't know if you were going there or not, but what popped into my head was we were talking about phones being a distraction. Something that I do, I heard it in bold. I actually work from my house. My office is in my house, but I take my phone and I put it in my bedroom before I sit down to do certain tasks. If it's just, Yeah, so that I'm not distracted with those things coming up, and I don't allow my computer to pop up my messages from Messenger.
It's awesome. How many of you all could implement what Mindy just said? Because we all get the FOMO, right? What is FOMO?
You're missing out.
Okay. So it's like, what am I missing out on if I'm lead generating and I get a phone call in? It's just 2 hours. So one thing that I did, I put a voicemail and I said, hey, this is Mark. Not hey. Hey, this is Mark, and you missed me. This is Mark, and I'm in an appointment right now. I'd be more than happy to give you a call back just as soon as I'm finished. Would that be okay? And so, because I don't like voicemail, so I don't leave a voicemail when I call people. I'll just call back. But that's one thing I learned through going to trainings. Leave a voicemail and let them know that you'll give them a call back. It's only a 2-hour time block. Give them a call back. There's other voicemails that I have. I forgot what my voicemail reads now, if you call it, but it's something about, I'll call you back or whatever. Right? Okay.
And if this is Austin, I still love you.
Huh?
Yeah, right.
What did you say?
Nothing. Country song.
Oh, good. All right, so we finished the next page. All right, so now let's take the number of home sales by those you know and trust, and the people they can refer to you by multiplying by the average commission here. The average commission is, the average sales price is $350,000. So we did the number earlier. Was that 10.5? So the average commission is $10,500. Enter this on line E or use the estimate on the slide. If you want to take this, what's that?
That's a lot.
It is.
Yeah. What our average sales
It's
price
like
here is
246.
246.
That's what we were talking about yesterday.
Oh, good. Use 246 then.
And then 3%, and then do we take out the market part?
Well, you would work it backwards, correct? So take that number. If you want to take this the next, if you want to take this a step further to know how much that can add up to in gross commission income, multiply line D by your average commission to get blank and enter this on line F.
We're real close to the 5,000, really.
Yeah. That's like 7, if you want to be more accurate.
Who wants to share their number?
So is line E, what's the number?
Put down.
What's the number for line E?
Line E number for
I would use 5,000.
5,000
too.
5,000?
Personally.
And that's based on the sales price of what?
Once everything comes out.
Yeah, after everything comes, that's based off of about a 200,000.
Yeah, the average sale price is 7. The average is like 3% is 7,000, but then think about your deductions back to Keller Williams or whatever you might have going on. So 5,000 is probably a more accurate number.
Okay, you do that.
Right?
Yeah.
On this number.
So what were the numbers that people had?
163,000.
163,000?
165, I shortchanged myself.
Okay. Annually, from what you have in your database. Okay, nice. Cool. What are other numbers that people have?
200,000.
200,000? Okay. Do you have a question? Are you having problems?
Multiply B and E.
Huh?
Multiply B and E.
Correct.
Yeah. And it says, think about that. A device you already use daily has the potential to become a powerful tool for your business. Before today, how many of you all knew how powerful of a tool you already have in your hand to have the potential income that you want? You already knew it. Okay. We just need to be more effective on using it and time blocking to know what the potential is if we'll actually do it. I mean, sales is the easiest paid. So what's the saying go? Sales is the lowest paid easy work or the highest paid hard work. How many of you guys have ever heard that before? And it's true, it really is. All right. Where's my, there it is. All right. We already covered how many people you have in your phone and how many potential sales they represent in the next year. Your contact list is a database. Your social media is another potential database. If we are going to be in a relationship with our contacts in a professional sense, we need to have them organized and accessible in a smart database. Though our phone may be smart, it's unlikely that your database is yet. Today, we will touch a bit on feeding your database. In the next session, we will cover how to make your database smart. You have an SOI, a database, and you've been generating leads from that database by communicating with it strategically. And I'm supposed to ask, how have we already been lead generating in this class? And what tool or system have we been using? So how have you guys already been lead generating in this class?
We're doing the cards every day. We're making our contacts and we're using command.
Everyone doing that? At a high level?
Oh, and social media. Yes. Yep.
Remember, how you participate in here is how you participate out there. So if you're all in with doing these tasks on a daily basis, you're going to get the results that you want. If you are doing it kind of half-ass and on the other end you're not getting it, then don't forget what you put in is what you get out. Does that make sense? So don't just go through the motions and expect to get those results on the end. And if I don't get those results, oh my gosh, something's wrong with real estate. No, nothing's wrong with real estate. It's just you. I mean, and I'm not trying to be mean by saying that. It's your responsibility. What are your ahas about being the lead generator for your business? What are your ahas about being the lead generator for your business? How might you shift your mindset to overcome your fears about the lead generation process? So how might you shift your mindset to overcome your fears about lead generation? Someone give me an example, just one. If two people want to do it, fine. But one person give me, how might you shift your mindset to overcome your fears about the lead generation process? What is that for somebody? Anybody? Yes, Michelle.
For me, it's just like getting used to the idea of rejection, just being part of the process.
Yeah. Everybody hear Michelle? Mm-hmm. Okay. The path to self-mastery takes time. Learning new habits and skills takes time. So take the time to acknowledge the journey you're on and celebrate the small wins along the way. How did you get back there?
Oh, your thing was doing all sorts of fun stuff.
What the hell? Who's good with sheets? No. No, that's not it. That's not it. Who's good with sheets? I'm not used to this computer.
Are you trying to get to like the slideshow or?
Yeah.
Okay. See where Madeline's got the pop-up there?
Up here?
Hit play, yeah, hit slideshow, go over just, no, opposite way. Yeah, click that. And that gets to more of the presentation.
Slide, show that.
It's not doing.
There we go. Is that it?
Yep, now you can click, forward it.
Okay, we have done that. Ahas, all right. Now that you've already begun lead generating, you have a database and an SOI. Let's dig into the most important model in your business, and that's a lead generation model. You will hear this over and over again throughout your career. It really is the most important activity. It's the first thing you need to know. It's the first thing you need to know to start your real estate business. And it's the last thing you will give up doing yourself if you decide to start a team and leverage your business to the point that you are no longer involved in the day-to-day running of it. Think about that. What are we learning today in the foundation for a million, multi-million, and even billion-dollar business? This is also why your time each day completing your daily success system along with your peers and facilitator are so important. I refer to lead generation and database model in the participant guide. As you've learned, Keller Williams has a model for everything. It makes sense there would be a model for your number one job, lead generation. Though it may look complicated, it's the one thing, relationships. You are in the lead relationship business. The more relationships you have, the more business you have. The model tells us how to get into relationship with people, stay in relationship with them, and be their real estate expert of choice to buy and sell real estate. What do you have on page? Yeah, oh, that's that. All right. Lead generation is simply getting people into your database so you can track your relationship with them. As you can see at the top of the model, there are two different activities that you can bring leads into your business: prospecting and marketing. You can never have too many leads. A lot of leads or a quality of leads gives you good quality business. How many of you all know the difference between prospecting and marketing? Did you raise your hand?
Sure. To me, like prospecting is like you're looking to see if that would be a good fit, and marketing, like you can still market to anybody, whether it's a fit for them or not.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, it does. Anyone else want to chime in on prospecting versus marketing?
Is prospecting more like people that are more ready, like sooner, than marketing is just they find you?
Target marketing?
Huh?
Target marketing?
Well, yeah, prospecting is going to be more like your prospect. You're going out, you're knocking a door, you're making a phone call. That's going to be your prospecting. Your marketing is typically something that you're going to pay for, and you're going to market to somebody by whatever tool, whatever it is that you've just bought, to send to them. It's more blind, it's covering more. But your prospecting is more of an intentional action toward. No, go for it.
Prospecting usually is free. Marketing usually costs money.
Absolutely.
And prospecting, I think, is much more time intensive and energy intensive on your part, but it has greater return on that, especially if you're broke.
Right.
I think if newer agents do a whole lot of prospecting, as you're in it longer, you probably do some marketing, but
not really.
Yeah, no. More prospecting.
More prospecting. A lot of stuff is just like money. It's like they're throwing money away and kind of like buying leads. Who talked about buying leads earlier?
Yeah, I asked about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't done it.
No. You have
business
cards.
the answer to your question.
Do I?
The answer to my question. Don't do it. Got it.
Yeah, it's especially, I mean, there's Zillow, there's Realtor.com. Zillow is anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a month. and you're not really guaranteed business. I mean, you're paying for impressions. The leads get put out to 3 or 4 different people. There's no guarantee. Some of the leads that go to those 3 to 4 people, they might be looking for the owner of the property. They might be wanting to rent. I mean, a big percentage of the time, they're not even looking to buy. And so I've paid $1,000 or $2,000 for junk. And oftentimes the reason why people will want to buy those leads is because it's a shiny object. And that shiny object is really attractive to us salespeople because it's a better way, it's an easier way of getting in front of people without having to make the phone calls. You don't really have to worry about object or rejection when you have a lead calling you, but you really do, because you just paid thousands of dollars for these leads and you got nothing. And so, yes.
In Zillow, you can get free leads because there's for sale by owners. So those are good ones to call.
Yeah. And you were talking about those earlier.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Being a new agent, unless you're just independently wealthy or you have a lot of money in the bank and you don't mind throwing money away, I really wouldn't suggest doing leads. Did you experience Zillow?
I did.
How'd that go?
It was good. Okay. I mean, I had people like reaching out and everything. And I had that issue that I didn't want to work with that person.
Okay. Yeah.
I was on Zillow, but the person was ready to transact.
Okay.
It was just my choice not to get it, but it's too much money.
Was it what you expected?
A lot more calls.
Tell me about those calls.
About people, hey, can you show me the house? I'm pre-approved already, ready to go. More often.
So how many of those people did you actually close?
I didn't close on those people.
Okay.
I had a couple of calls and one was ready to close, but I rejected.
So the moral of the story with Zillow leads is what?
Yeah, I mean, it's not worth the money.
From my experience, I saw another person do that in my business, and you watch her pick up the phone and like stumble because on Zillow, the person is truly trying to connect to the agent of the listing of the house to find more information. And you're just some random person. And so on the fly, you got to pick up the phone, know what this random house is, be able to get in your car, print out your docs and go show it. Your success is very minimal unless you're sitting there at the office waiting for the calls, right? And then that person's totally confused to why you're not Mindy Witt that's got the sign on the car, and you're halfway, you're kind of explaining yourself because they don't understand the concept. And you're like, who the heck are you? You're not even this Mindy girl that's got the sign in the yard, right? That's my experience of witnessing it. I've not done it.
Yeah, all the above. All the above. I've been there, done it. I've done Realtor.com leads. I've done Zillow leads. And Gary Keller says, as a Power reads in his material, the best way to build a successful business is to feed your database, nurture your database, build a moat around your database, feed it daily, feed it often, and that's your best source of business. And most importantly, it's free. We all look for the easy lead. There is no easy lead, except for your SOI. So lead generation is simply getting people into your database. As you can see at the top of the, okay, we already went through that one, didn't we?
And your next slide is actually going to do the prospecting versus marketing.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. All right. Prospecting and marketing. All right. Participants. To tell participants to turn to prospecting. Okay, gotcha. It is a best practice to generate leads through a prospecting-based, marketing-enhanced approach. Prospecting is proactive and direct, as I was sharing. You are actively searching for leads. Prospecting. Do you guys have those 5 bullets on your page? Take the bullets for me.
Money intensive, passive, long-term results, time intensive, proactive, and immediate results.
Okay, you.
The one that's
there. That's on your. You clicked on the screen.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Is that not the?
Is it the 5 that you shared?
bullets?
Huh?
Is it the 5 that you shared before? Is that what you're asking?
No. The 5 I shared before is your job description as an agent.
Lead
What-
generation,
what are they?
follow-up.
Lead generation, lead follow-up, make appointments, close.
Go on appointments. Where's the
Negotiate contracts, and 5 role play and scripts.
dialogues and role play.
Yes.
Memorize those, systematize those, write them down, staple them on a piece of paper, and tape them to your forehead. Because that is what you have to get good at in order to be successful in real estate. So the 5 things. All right. So on my paper, it reads prospecting is low cost to no cost method, yields a quality of leads, which in turn gives you quality, yields a quantity of leads. Don't have my readers on. Yields a quantity of leads, which in turn gives you quality leads. Establishes personal relationships, keeps you in direct contact with the market of the moment, and increases your confidence and skill. With marketing, you are putting your information out there to attract leads through sources like social media or print ads, radio ads, promotional material, etc. We will talk a bit more about this in some order of our other material. One second. Speaking about leads, I have 72 sold leads coming, and just want to make sure I haven't missed any of those. I have not. All right. Next. There's a lot of material here. What?
You've got like 11 minutes left, so you're good.
All right. So let's do this. This class is all about you guys. Okay? It's all about you guys. What can I help you with? What are some things? Oh, we have these up here, don't we? Okay. What's lead generation tool? What's the number 1 lead generation tool, right? Calls, handwritten letter, and command. So you asked that. What's the number 1 lead generation tool? Or what is it? Is that what you asked? Or who asked it? You asked that. Yeah. From the class so far, actually, we probably don't have time to go through that exercise. So for me, I like doing things that I'm good at and that I'm comfortable with. And so I do, when I was a new agent, I did an awful lot of open houses. I also did a lot of door knocking. And I also made sure I stayed in contact with my SOI. So I called my database and texted them and did all that stuff. Those are mine. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. It does. What does that mean to you? What'd you get out of that?
I need to find what I like to do and what works for me and then focus on that.
Right. So in the MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, Gary Keller says to find 4 legs and have 4 legs of lead generation. You're not going to be great at all of them. Find out what your 4 legs of lead generation are and get good at them. So therefore, if door knocking isn't, you're not getting any door knocking, you might try cold calling. You might try, there are a number of different things. But in the MREA, there are a bunch of examples. All right. Secondly, expired and FSBOs. What was the question on expired and FSBOs?
Like, what's your biggest key point or advice?
Okay. I don't know because I've never done a lot of for sale by owners and expireds. I've got a lot of material on for sale by owners and expireds, and I'm happy to share it with you. Look me up or call me or come by my office and I'll give you what I have, if that's what you'd like to do. Okay. I've got a lot of data on that.
Can you write your number and email on the board?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll do it right now. Christina, do me a favor. Will you write my name and number on the board?
I got you.
That's one thing I learned by being at Keller Williams. Delegate. I mean, let somebody else do what you're not good at. And she has great penmanship. Next question, be better with cold calls, creating better relationships when you're not, okay, who had that objection? Is that you?
Oh, what?
Be better at cold calls?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So tell me, okay, tell me what your question is again.
How to say like you called somebody, you know, off a phone number off of Land Voice and it wasn't actually them. So how to direct that phone call now to them instead of maybe the people that you were calling. Because I call specific neighborhoods. So they don't live in the neighborhood anymore. How to direct that call to them.
Script practice. There are a lot of different scripts that you can have. How often do you script?
I'd say like twice a week.
Huh?
Twice a week.
Okay, how long each time?
Maybe an hour.
Maybe an hour. Okay. You will get better at script practicing. And so, how many of you guys would enjoy having a group where you could script practice together? Who volunteers to lead that up? Give me someone raise their hand. Who volunteers to lead a script practice? Okay. We'll work on that one. Next, how to properly nurture a lead. Is that right?
Yes.
How to properly nurture a lead. Tell me how you properly nurture a lead. What does that mean to you?
So probably like keep in contact with them, but like I'm having a hard time of finding like the appropriate time to call.
Here's my number, Mindy. 417-861-3348. And email address is mark, M-A-R-K, at 417listings with an S.com. Mark at 417listings.com and 417-861-3348. Go for it.
So my main problem was like just like knowing the right time when to call them and like the time frame and where to
there is no right time. Okay, there's a 36 touch plan.
36? I thought someone said 33.
33. 133.
I just remember writing it down and it was like, think about all the holidays. So that's an email with a picture.
Okay.
Merry Christmas. Happy 4th of July. Martin Luther King.
Well, they add holidays to it.
So,
If you go with the command and you will see 33 or 36 touch or 34 touch, it'll give you the things to do. Call, text, email. It'll give you the sync widths. It'll give you the time frame, all that stuff. It'll just, have you been in command?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see some of them on there. I think there's a few in there like probably a way to nurture them, like long-term nurturers or short-term nurturers.
Yep.
Stuff
Okay.
like that. But I wasn't sure like the appropriate one to use for people.
There is no perfect one. Don't overthink it. Just put them on, plug them in and let them go.
On that short term versus long term, like the long term means that they're gonna buy like 3-5 years from now.
Okay.
That's what that's referring
Thank
to.
you, Mindy.
And then, yeah, if they're gonna be buying soon, you're gonna put them on a short term.
Okay.
Their time span is very short. So you're gonna get a lot more touches in quickly with those people than the people that aren't looking to buy until 3 or 4 years.
Okay, that makes sense. Thanks.
Lead gen tools. Who had lead gen tools? Was that you?
No, I had the same.
Okay, tell me more about lead gen tools.
I mean, you pretty much got it. I was just curious if you had any other like ideas or anything that you do particularly. I like the past client like event you mentioned. That was pretty cool because I mean that'd be a good way to get referrals. But I just didn't know if you had anything else.
I think my 4 legs of lead generation were open houses, door knocking, open houses, door knocking, my SOI, and when I had to, I would cold call.
Will you do events? Your 4th one, not events?
But that was early on.
Oh.
That was before coaching.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And now since I've developed relationships, I do a lot of agent referrals. I do a lot of SOI. And then I have SOI referrals that reach out to me. Next one is, do you stick with tools? Do you stick with tools? You are best
versus using everything.
I think I do. Yeah, because if you're not comfortable with it, you're not going to do it. You're going to look for reasons not to. If you'll just take 2 hours a day, contact, have 20 two-way conversations, make sure real estate is brought up during the conversation, keep track of it on a daily basis, you will have more business than you know what to do with. You really will. Who's going to do that? Who's going to have 22-way conversations every day where you talk about real estate? Who commits to making that happen every day? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. No, but it's great. If you will, let me know your results. Let me know how you're doing. And if you're getting more, that means you're doing a great job. If you're getting less, if you're getting less business and you're making those numbers, as Gary Keller says we should, if you're getting less numbers and you're not converting enough, what does that tell you as an agent? What do you need to do?
Adjust you.
Better script.
Right, you say what?
Adjust yourself.
Adjust yourself, and somebody else said something else.
Script.
Scripts, right. Practice more scripts. Michelle, the better you got at scripts, what happened?
Well, your conversion is better.
Yeah. So you have to keep track of your numbers. You have to know where you're at all times to know where you're going. If you don't know where you're at, you'll never get where you're going. And where you're going is a closing average where you're making a lot of money and helping a lot of families. How do you get contact info from social media? I've never figured it out. Most of the people that are in my social media are my SOI, but friends that we become friends on Facebook. You know, I haven't done social media at a high level to be able to get the contact information from those people. Yes, sir.
Does your VA do that for you?
She does.
That's what I figured.
Oh yeah.
Like for me, that's what I do.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I have a VA that does that for me, social media.
Right. I hate the details.
We have a class next week on that, on social media.
Okay.
So.
All right, cool. Scripts. What about scripts? Who had scripts?
I believe.
What was your question about scripts?
Just how do I get the information from people while I'm talking to them? Some people are hesitant to, give out the information. Sometimes I want like your mailing address to send out like, thank you letter or whatever.
Sure. Okay. Most of the time, there should be, if you don't have, there's inserts to your Ignite book. Any script, anything you want to know, it's going to be in those scripts. So it's just a matter of going through the scripts and internalizing those scripts to where you make it your own, and then you can ask people whatever you want to. And that comes through practice. I mean, it just does. Got 1 minute to go.
I have a question to kind of add to the scripts. Other than Bold, where do you find them?
Other than Bold, talk to Shanna, your productivity coach, and she will have even more scripts for you.
I think YouTube too has videos.
Okay. Yeah, YouTube's a great resource. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Paying for leads. Have we covered that? Are we clear on paying for leads?
Yeah, except for you were looking at 72 sold, right? So now I'm confused as to whether or not it's a good idea.
Well, the thing about 72 sold is this. When I was at Mega Camp last year, Gary Keller has never been a proponent of paying for leads. And so he was always against Realtor.com, Zillow. But when I saw Gary Keller and when I heard Gary Keller talk about 72 sold and he was for it, I'm like, man, I'm going to look at this because whatever Gary Keller says, I mean, I'm all in if I can, and I totally believe. And so far, it's a good program. It's seller leads. Outside of that, I haven't bought leads in a long time. Yeah. You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Shift in paying for the shift in where you get shift in where you get your lead.
You've pretty much already answered that by telling me that when you started, you focused on different parts, and now that you're in it more, you're doing events.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite smart plans? I don't really have any favorite smart plans. Different ways to lead generate. I think we kind of covered that too, didn't we? Okay. Building confidence for lead generation. What's the #1 way to build confidence for lead generation?
Do it.
And
We'll play.
role play, dialogues and role play. Someone here organize a day and a time to where a group of you can get together and script practice and do it every day. You'll see on my time block, we had script practice every day from 8:45 to 9:45 and just made it part of the calendar. That's what you have to do. You have to make it part of the calendar because if you look for reasons not to get it done, if you look hard enough, you'll find them. And then when you get in front of a client, you don't know what to say. You're like, darn it, I knew I should have been script practicing. So just got to do it. Okay. Yes, sir.
Is buffer on your calendar like a break period?
Yeah, there's a book that's called The 12-Week Year. Has anyone ever read The 12-Week Year? It's a fantastic read. That's where the buffer comes from. We don't have enough time to go into the 12-week year, but get the book, 12-week year, get on Audible, listen to it, and it will transform all these little bitty building blocks that you learn along the way that help you attain success. And so that was one of the things that I implemented.
Okay.
Most people, they said they have a yearly goal, and by month 8 or 9, they're so far off base that they say to hell with the rest of the year, right? So with the 12-week year, you don't wait to month 7 or 8. Each year, each 3-month period is a year. And so if you get to the week 9 or 10 and you're off goal, well, the next year you have, which is the next 3 months, you can adjust, aim at that, and get back on track instead of waiting till 7 or 8 or 9 months and figuring out I'm not going to hit that goal. So that's what basically the 12-week year is kind of about. Not kind of is about. Get it? All right. Anything else? Anybody? Is there anything else? Okay. My number's up here if you guys have any questions, ever want to know anything, whatever, reach out to me. I'll share whatever knowledge I can. I don't know it all. I only know what works for me. And that's what you build your business around, is what works for you. There are so many successful agents out there. Find an agent that you would like to emulate, get with them, have them help you, and it'll help you be successful in whatever it is that you want to do. Get a coach. Start with Shanna, get good with Shanna, then go to Breakthrough Coaching. You'll get 2 phone calls every other week with a mastery coach. It's $500, $500. It's well worth it. And then you'll get to a level where you can hire a mastery coach, and that's $1,000 a month. And I challenge each of you to get there and get a mastery coach. That means you have to have lots of business between now and then. Okay, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Kind of got off track a little bit, but I appreciate you guys. Okay, class is dismissed.
Coming back down to collect our cards.
I don't know. You want to go up there? I can go up there and find out. I got to go up there anyway.
Yeah, I think she's supposed to come down and then kind of do our accountability stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I'll step up there and let her know that that we're finished. I'm serious. If anyone ever has questions or whatever, my office is in the upstairs, 2nd floor, and I'm on the northwest corner of the building. So if anyone ever has questions or wants to know more, stop by and visit with me, and I'll address whatever it is that you need. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome. Yes. Oh, no.
Have you talked to him recently?
Talked to?
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. He calls me about every 2 or 3 months just to check in, see how I'm doing. And he's like, yeah, we miss you. And yeah, that's probably a month and a half ago he called me.
You're a better person than I. He wears me out.
I just got it.
Yeah.
He's a challenge.
Yeah.
But you know what? You learn something from every transaction and from every person. So
Yeah.
that's
I have gotten really, really good at getting off the phone with them.
Okay.
I used to talk to them for 30 minutes every time, and now I've got it down to like 4.
Right, I gotta go. I got you don't know what time it is, but you look at your clock, man, I got an appointment at 2:15.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't have anything else going on.
It starts at 2:09. I gotta go.
I know.
Or just go, but it's one of my biggest problems is trying to get off the phone, and he has definitely taught me a lot about that. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's good things you can learn about everything. Thank you, Mark. Are you guys accountability partners already?
No,
Do you have an accountability partner?
like officially from Shanna?
No,
like just for this week.
class.
Don, but he has.
Because it's like online training.
I don't have one, okay, because I came in super late that day and I was wanting to get one.
Do you have one?
I have that,
Megan.
This
one? So it's not, it's like half.
But anyway.
Is she normally in it? Like, is she good for you? Like, you guys are good?
Yeah.
Can I tell you? They're actually phone I would love to have some of these. Okay, I need it. Okay, and I've got yours. You've got my name and or my number already. You don't. Okay.
You gave me a card. You gave me a card, so I do.
Okay, well,
I need to get it text you.
Okay, did that work? So this is why I have so many contacts. Half of them don't have a name. Like, when she was giving me, it's just, oh my gosh, I can't think of her name right now.
That's the glory of it. What's your name?
Hold on. I got my cards today, finally. When Holly gave me her phone number, I'm like, oh, yep, I already got it on my phone.